2 days ago.
Oh.
And for some reason, I'm
Is it one or two things?
so tired. Oh, is there more than one thing?
We have the work plan too.
Oh, work plan, okay.
So we
Yeah.
need to take the agenda.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I put them, I stapled 3 separate packets because I hate when all the papers are,
Take them
Yeah.
apart, right?
Ad hoc committee update.
they all look the same too.
Oh, do we have to take?
I'm missing, what am I missing?
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
so you got the agenda, ad hoc.
Agenda.
Okay,
So you're
this
gonna-
I have. You want something like this?
I'll have that.
Oh, purpose, no,
agenda.
now I have everything. Okay, this is what you're
Okay.
looking for. One is update
The
ad
best you
hoc
guys have.
committee, and one is visual arts committee work plan, and one is the agenda.
Yeah.
This is what you're
Is there
looking
a
for.
spare agenda there?
This is you.
Who wants an agenda?
I'll take an agenda.
You give us work to do.
I have all.
But since not everybody's here yet, so we can. And then maybe we should set out packages.
Let's see, this says, where does it say?
So this is what you want. You want the agenda and then you
Okay.
want.
Oh, it's right there. Got it. Okay.
Thicker ones
Thank you.
that say something different.
Yeah. I see that now.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Yes, I see that. Okay.
Sorry, I'd like to explain that.
No, you're not allowed to yawn, I tell you.
I know Lacey's not coming, I'm
She's not
not
coming.
sure about Tutu, but
Oh, Joe and
yeah,
Joe.
We're
Shall
four,
we
so we
wait?
have a quorum.
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah.
Yes, 4
Joe
people.
might actually be
Just,
coming.
just.
I flew in from Europe for this, come on.
Oh,
No,
good.
not really.
I'm gonna come back tomorrow.
Not
right?
really, not really. But that this way we're, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Kirsten, what's
Go
the,
ahead.
shall we go ahead?
Yeah.
Oh, it's over, so, yeah. So I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:03.
Hey.
And we move to the roll call.
Yes. Cliff Bryant.
Yes.
Stephanie Spade.
Yep.
Vice Chair Regina Sickles.
Yep.
Chair Merharn.
Yes.
And then absent, Joe Medwood, Lacey Rathbun, and Tutu Thompson.
Right, so let's move on to 3, approve the minutes. Who would like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minute.
Okay.
All in favor?
I,
All right. So let's move on to 4, which is our general bucket for the public, oral communications from the public. Is there anybody who would like to speak at this point?
It's like John is online,
Wonderful.
but no hands raised.
And there's more opportunity to speak for the public, so
Yeah.
this would be more the general opportunity. All right, so we're moving on to 5, upcoming agenda topics.
I have one. So in March of this year, the city put on a wonderful diversity program on the plaza. I got
Oh, the city.
city.
Yeah.
I got several comments from folks who really had pride in what they saw. And given the tenor of the political situation here, and given our residents, I thought it would be it was an opportunity to celebrate the diversity of the public and citizenry. And I thought that it's an event put on by the city, but I think by the rec department. Why not have leverage from that opportunity to create art? Public creates art and the city displays it somewhere. City Hall, around, etc. We have a committee looking at downtown events with the Center for Arts. So I'd like to put it on a topic to explore how we can leverage from city events to have the public create art that the city then displays to celebrate its citizens.
That's nice, yeah.
Okay, so
And that might be
that's the
something for
topic.
the
That's the topic.
subcommittee who works
Yeah,
at
that's
downtown.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? This is our opportunity to suggest
Right.
agenda topics for the future, so Yes, I've called anything.
You can always email me too if you think of something.
Right, okay.
Yes. Okay, so moving on to 6, in that case, unfinished business. So what, all the things we're working on.
Yeah. So just have a quick update on the capital improvement projects side. So we know about this contractor state licensing board issue, and so it's disrupted several of our projects, and so some projects that we have that are outstanding are Evelyn Park, Villa Chiquita Park, Ringsdorf maintenance and tennis buildings, and the Shoreline Boathouse. So staff are actively looking at ways to get the contracts done. But we're still working through kind of analysis of how each contract is going to be done and meet these the contractor state licensing board as it stands right now. But the Senate Bill 456, so it's going through state and Senate committee review or hearings right now, and it seems positive. And so that is slated to go to be reviewed by the governor in the fall. And so that should hopefully change things positive. But at this point, we're it's a little bit of a waiting.
We need to voice our opinions to our state representatives in the Senate or in the House. Or legislature assembly.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts. The city has written a letter of support for the bill, and I think generally it's agreed on. I think generally the outlook is positive in terms of what we want to happen, and we want the bill to pass and for mules to be exempt from the contractor state licensing board. I don't think it hurts to voice your support.
SB 456.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
wrote an email to both the authors of do that on the website.
Okay, good.
And it's pretty certain it's gonna happen in the fall.
It says September, I think, if you look on the
Because it
docket.
could have been
says
January,
September.
right? So I think this is kind of good news if it's fall.
Right, it's moving forward, but it's not done until done.
Yeah, and I think typically the approval, it could be pushed into January, but if there is very clear, if it's very clear that the bill is being approved, we may have some flexibility in there, but it will depend.
Yeah. Let's keep fingers crossed. Alright. So moving on to 6.2 then, update from the ad hoc committee supporting arts Mountain View. That would be the package. And then we have John on the call. So before I say anything, or
Rejoining as.
well, before I present anything, I just want to express my gratitude to John for his outstanding skill and professionalism. He had to deal with a lot of input. So I hope you heard that, John. Had to deal with a lot of input from a lot of people. And he stayed very professional and did an outstanding job. So thanks a lot, John.
Well, I'll just say thank you for making the project better.
And
I mean, that was our intention, right? To
John, this is Cliff. Yes, I want to also echo Susie that you listened to us very well. You had good ideas, you listened to us, you improved, and we have very good collaborative engagement with you. Just commend you on listening and producing very, very fine art.
And just
Thank
to
you.
say, we normally don't do this. We're not interfering this much, but I think it's just an expression of how important the project is to us, and Mountain View doesn't have anything like this yet. So we wanted to get it right? And you did such an amazing job. to actually, I think it was, that's why we felt we wanted to be involved more than we normally do. And yeah, just to explain that, but thank you.
Yeah, I'll just echo that and thank you all for the more collaborative experience. And like I said before, you all know Mountain View, even though I'm local, like you all know it in your heart. So hearing and collaborating with you all, your expertise is, what is gonna elevate it, more special. Yeah. So thank you all as well.
And I also want to say, I want to thank Anita,
Yes, absolutely.
because without Anita's drive, you wouldn't have reached this point. And also the way that she assembled people to work with John, from not just Susie and myself, but other people like Pam and other community members. It was a collaborative engagement with many parties, all orchestrated by Anita and Anita's drive. So really kudos to Arts Mountain View and Anita for bringing us to this point.
Yes, absolutely. She really brought in other people's stories in their background and fed that to me as inspiration and then let me go run with it. So I thank her a lot as well. So.
Go ahead
great.
and share the,
So unfortunately, Kirsten, I think this is an older version.
yeah, I had
Printed
already
out,
printed that.
was
but
printed out,
by the
yeah,
time you
so-
had sent the
Oh, okay.
updated.
So John, can we give you the word and you would go explain? Do you want us?
So what you're displaying, Kristen, is the final
Yeah.
version. What's printed out here
Yeah,
is
not like this.
a couple of versions
Very,
before.
Okay,
very
round three.
close to the final,
Mhm.
but colors changed a bit and small details changed. So refer to what you're seeing here. And just to
Yeah.
say, like the top 5 are front of the building, the bottom 3 in the
Nice.
back of the building, so they're not gonna be seen together.
Yeah.
Front of the building being that which faces Evelyn.
The train.
Oh, front is in
No,
front.
Evelyn,
The
Evelyn, city.
Top 5 are the ones that face the city.
Yeah.
The plaza and downtown, and the top 3
Bottom
and
three.
bottom 3 face the train tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can walk you through just kind of overview, but working with Anita and all of you, we kind of came up with the idea of this progression from to like celebrate Mountain View's history as well as highlight local native plants, animals, and the economy, history, the future, kind of try to encapsulate everything and then also provide it in sort of an universal way where I think is a powerful way for people to see themselves reflected in the art when it's not too descriptive. So from an overview, yeah, it starts with this panel celebrating the Ohlone pre-European time, and my personal love of everything nature and fishing, the bay, just everything is kind of begins here and then moves through to the next era, you may say, of the Spanish Mexican era. And kind of throughout all these panels, you'll see these flowing like organic lines that I kind of think of as like threads that connect through these histories all the way to present day. And yes, if you go to the next one, can kind of flip through these, go into the early American agriculture time, which was extremely important time of the beginning of this immigrant power where people came and really built the early American economy. And we got stories from people who Anita knew about their Japanese American families past and gave us stories and kind of informed a lot of like very like specific stories that we can speak on in the, hopefully, these will all be accompanied by like QR codes that lead people to a website with explainers, which would have like these stories that are being reflected in some of these, some of the panels. And then, so this is a smaller panel, and it's kind of just celebrating well-known landmarks and kind of tying the historical panels towards these modern day, more modern panels, like the next one, which celebrates a lot of the like technological tech environment, which is kind of an unmistakable landmark in its own way in Mountain View. And this is the technology one is the most far right of the side that faces downtown. And then as we turn around the building, we get into the train side, which begins to celebrate the shoreline, Stevens Creek area with, you know, all the great things like amphitheater and people enjoying and recreating. There's a little coyote passing through the Stevens Creek Bridge, and Anita provided me with some like personal like stories of her running, you know, doing runs in the morning and seeing coyotes in the street, and just like these little moments that I think we can speak on in the stories that we make in the writing for these. And then the next one is kind of ascending up from the shoreline up the foothills and kind of showing hikers and people interacting with nature, which I think is important. And then the last one is kind of this culmination celebration of what we feel like is hopefully a reflection of the diversity and energy in downtown Mountain View on a Saturday with, you know, with everyone everywhere and farmers markets and bicyclists and people going this way and that way. So yeah, I think that together kind of became our whole story across all the panels, and hopefully yeah, it attracts people to the station and provides some landmark making and place making, and makes people curious about the city and learning more and feeling like they've landed when they arrive at the DTA station.
Awesome.
This is
Awesome.
very nicely from the. Very nice job, John. Very nice.
Wonderful job.
Yeah, I really like the monochrome.
It'll really
Yeah.
transform the train station.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John had to fight a little bit. The monochrome had to grow on the very outspoken
Yeah.
reviewers.
Yeah.
But I think, because it needs to be seen as a whole, right?
Yeah.
That it is very colorful as a whole. And the contrast is a bit more than it was before. I think it's really
Good.
It's
great.
actually more.
It's really great. And
More
comes to-
more dynamic than.
yeah, I think I like that the light is really light.
Yeah.
And that makes the light color is light, so it pops really well.
Yeah.
Pretty nice,
Yeah.
great values on each panel.
Yeah, and this way, and as a whole, it is colorful, right? And they are together, so.
Mhm. Oh, it's really nice.
And
But
the
this
entrance
is
to Savvy
John's
Cellar will
artistic
be
vision.
next to the one on the lower level to the right, correct? Savvy Cellar entrance is right next to it, right?
The
On the
right
train
one.
station, facing the tracks.
So when you, the Savvy Cellars on the left,
Okay, I'm talking about the other
is there an
entrance.
entrance
Yeah,
in the
there
back?
is, yeah.
Is there one?
Yeah, or the front, yeah. From when you cross the railroad tracks,
Yeah,
there's an entrance.
there is an entrance.
Yeah.
but it's not one of those two doors.
No, it's to the, I believe it's to the.
To the right, to
So,
the
so
right.
so it'll be nice, it'll be seen very nicely.
Yeah, and we did omit, there
Mhm.
was like one other segment of wall, but because the building's protruding out, that wall was really not visible, so we decided not to do 5-5, we decided to do 5 and 3
Mhm.
because it didn't make sense. They're much more visible this way.
And Anita found out that panels, the manufacturer of the sheets that are, make this, the biggest sheet is 5 foot.
They only
60
could
60
be
inches, so-
60 high
Mm,
So that became the size.
and
Oh.
width wise, we could go
whatever.
wider,
mm,
but there's a lot of knobbly, weird things on that building.
mhm.
So we had to work around that. That's why they look the way they look.
Mhm.
And we gave John the measurements. We measured twice, hopefully.
Oh.
We did good. Because there were little lamps, little signs, little something
mhm.
stuff on the building. And we felt like we agreed that that couldn't be touched. So we had to move.
Great.
around.
Looks really nice.
Isn't it 3 times you have to measure?
3 times maybe, yes. John's laughing. Yeah, I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure. Yeah,
It looks great.
so
So
It's-
what do you need from us now?
So the process is, the VAC needs to make a recommendation to the city manager's office to essentially accept this proposal as part of a donation of art to the city. And so then, so what will happen after this is, so if assuming you recommend this proposal as it is, then I will send this up to the city manager's office for their review and consideration. We'll probably have to do a little bit more work with the facilities and real estate team looking at installation and just administration of it, but then the city manager will give the final review and approval.
So what words do you need us to say in the recommendation?
That you, so assuming you guys like all of this, as it is, that I would say, make a recommendation that you make a recommendation for the city manager's office to approve, John Patrick Thomas's, art proposal for the Green Depot building.
And then, and as a donation from Arts Mountain.
Yes, yeah.
So my proposal is that the VAC recommends that the city accept the donation from Arts Mountain View of the work done by John. Artwork on the train station depicting the history of Mountain View in 8 panels.
you're making a motion.
I'm making a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
So you're liking everything?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Everything looks good.
It's
great.
And I think the idea is to add little QR codes.
That's great.
Oh.
Where people could scan and because there's so many wonderful details in this, right? I mean, you see it on the slides, what
And
John incorporated in each panel.
the history, Pam Baird from the Mountain View
So the-
Historical Association wants to.
The
write
Historical
up-
Association
write
will
up stuff.
put that together, and
Yeah.
hopefully with naturalists as well, just get together and write good text and
So it
then.
becomes something that involves the whole, many organizations in the city.
I'm hoping like school classes will come and, I mean,
Definitely.
It's a good, it's a plaza, you can safely sit there, right? And you can look at it
I know it's good.
easily and it's in the center of town and, I mean, if I were a teacher,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just as a note, there aren't any other online attendees.
yeah, we omitted that. that's true, because we're so, yeah, enthusiastic about this.
Nice.
Yeah, so any closing words, John?
No, just, absolute gratitude. Thank you all. And, thank you to the Historic Association and Anita and, yeah, everybody involved on it so far. And, her friends who are the naturalists who helped us find all the, native plants and everything. So it'll be fun to, have them explore and write about the work. Yeah.
A big thank you back.
Yeah.
All the best of luck.
All right. Thank you. I'm gonna sign off now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
And as you see, like what you have printed is very, very similar. It's just that colors are moved around.
Yeah.
And there was some small.
Really nice.
Yeah, there's less colors,
Good
right?
choice, good choice.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
good choice. But we can share the final, right, Kirsten? Like the with the committee.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
People want to look it over, but it's not a big difference from what you have. All right, so moving on to 7, or do we need to go into any of the accepting gifts from the city, like the details?
Unless you have any questions about it, so I included the copy of the city's donation policy just for reference.
Mhm.
There is quite a bit of information in here. Some of it is a little bit of pick and choose. It's up to the city manager's office whether donations need to be approved by the city council or some of the stipulations around administering the actual policy, but the way that we were directed to administer the policy is to work with the Visual Arts Committee, create this ad hoc committee to help Anita, Arts Mountain View in selecting an artist, and then we'll go back to the city manager's office with this recommendation.
If you need us to do any of the advocacy, let us know.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, I will.
And this was special, right? Anita and Arts Mountain View doesn't have to go through this whole process
Mhm.
for other projects when she works with private business owners. This is because the train station is a city building.
Mhm.
That's why we had to go through all
Mhm.
this official process.
Yeah, yeah. And she could, private build, we've talked about kind of the mural, and concerns around the city being able to implement murals right now because of the contractor state licensing board. Private properties, they are free
Okay.
to do that. They
Wow,
can
okay.
put murals up, they are not subject to the same rules that
Oh,
we are as a public entity. So they're, if a business came in or if Anita came in and wanted to do a mural on business, private property on, a business downtown or something, she would just have to get a permit, but, there would be nothing stopping her.
And that's why we're also calling it the panels and not the murals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they're not murals.
Okay.
It's gonna be metal panels and it's printed onto the metal panels, so
Okay.
we had to, creative way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was also what worked best with those metal panels, I think, because of the train station, I think city staff also liked the idea that it's not on the
Mhm.
building directly. And would be easier to disinstall when the building gets painted and things like that. It was just all
That makes
over,
sense.
everybody liked
Yeah,
it. Good, all right, so moving on to 7, new business, we are supposed to discuss our work plan.
Yes, so the work plan is it's an annual process. Every year, the different advisory bodies review their work plans. We create this work plan and then it goes to the city council for approval in September. So today's meeting is more just giving input on the draft that we have. And then we'll you'll make a final recommendation to council, to adopt it in June. So we'll review it today, give comments, I'll bring back an edited version, to the next meeting. And I can share, I can have the redlined copy of. So I have, so this is this is attached to the memo as a clean draft. So I wanted to just bring the red line version up so you could see the things that I changed from
yeah,
the
that's
last
good.
year's document. So, some of this was just updating dates, just moving it into the next year, because some of these things are just a continuation and ongoing work. Let's see. So for notes, so the first thing is, so this is kind of the ongoing work section, so talking about the Center for Performing Arts. So we'll do that again in the fall and early, fall of this year and early 2026. And then I have a note here too, one of the work plan items was promoting the CPA exhibit, so we've been promoting those on the Public Art website. They're on the Center for Performing Arts website, and then the Economic Development team has created social media platforms, and we've been using those to promote the different exhibits when they start too.
Is that new, social media?
Within the last year,
Okay.
yeah.
Kirsten, shall we just start commenting while you go through?
Yeah,
it,
that sounds
or-
good. Or
and
well,
we-
then I'll just go through it quick
And we
and
don't
then,
have members
yeah.
of the public, right? We don't-
I don't think so.
Because
can
then
double
you
check.
don't have to go through it twice.
Yeah, well, I can just go through, I'll just go through it quick and then,
Quick, okay. And then we go back.
yeah, we can go back. I'll double
Yeah.
check there's no one on and then, yeah, we can go back. Okay.
Sounds good.
So then, so CIP program, so this chunk of things that I took out in the second column, I just moved it over to the status. Because those things will change over time, so and for the date, so some of these are done, like Range Rover Aquatic Center is done. Some of these things, they're in progress right now, so the timeline that the milestones we had previously, some things were delayed or changed, so I just noted that they're in progress and could be. It's the same with some of these other future art programs, so there aren't any specific dates for these right now.
What would be the Hope Street Park? I don't know if I know where that is.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, I know.
Where is that? Is that to be?
Yeah, it's
constructed?
as I recall, it's part of the development that's going to occur.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Hope Street.
yeah, so the, dates are on this.
Oh, got it.
To
Yeah,
be determined during
okay.
the development
Definitely to be
project.
determined.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
El Camino? you said?
Yeah, they're replacing
So Hope and El Camino.
El Camino, between Castro, Hope, El Camino, and Fairmont.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the-
Where they-
within the
they-
new development.
Right, there's a new development that's going to come in near Gateway Park and where there's a bank there now.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
They're gonna, negotiations to sell Fairmont, a portion of Fairmont, so they can.
I think I saw
incorporate it as part of
KFC
the-
moved away.
Yeah, so it's,
It's that.
Yeah, and the public safety training, so the police and fire station, or police station, is going to be rebuilt at some point, but the dates, are still to be decided.
Where are we? Are we like?
So we're on, so this is page 2 now of the first attachment.
The first attachment,
Mhm.
somehow.
Yeah, so we have the Bollard beautification project on here, so, obviously the artists were selected in 2024, completion of this is to be determined based on this pending bid. Senate Bill 456. I removed the recommend the public art for Boathouse that was done, and the reference to the shoreline boathouse was moved up to getting the kind of in progress updates. So collaborating with advisory bodies and other entities, so and we just made some language changes, so forming an ad hoc committee with the downtown committee and performing arts committee, which we did this year. So made note of that, and then collaborating with other advisory bodies, so that'll be just ongoing work as we identify opportunities for that. Now I'm going to page 5 of the draft. Okay, so increasing outreach for calls for artists. So the key milestone is to continue to expand the list of local artist groups. That work is just ongoing. We have our artist registry that people can sign up for online. And then we post all of our calls for artists on Cafe. So there is a milestone to update the registry known as Cafe or call for entry. So that's something we don't necessarily have funding designated for that right now, so move that into 2026. We'll have to reevaluate if we have funding.
Move away from it?
That's how I'm reading it.
I
It was something that
and I
was in
thought,
that.
we're not
Yeah.
involved with them, how can we update?
Yeah, we wouldn't be
them?
able to update the
So update.
call for entry as a
like,
system, so I'm reading it as like
goes
potentially
somewhere
changing it
else.
or.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
In this area, getting more artists, et cetera. Is there a step where you just had or we're having open studios? Does anyone on staff go through who's listing on open studios and see if they're on the list of artists that we know about?
I have not done that.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no, I have not done that.
It might be something to do to ensure that people who are advertising as artists in the
I
city
think we
we
definitely
know
need
about,
to
but we need to have staff time to be able to do that. So.
figure out.
If
Do
you,
you
if
wanna-
you
Is there
need to,
contact
if you,
information on?
yeah, they actually have places and where they are at. If you
Is
get
it
the
just addresses or do they have?
They have the name and the addresses.
Okay. Is it?
So
I'm thinking like if there's.
Would you like
Yeah.
a person from the
I don't-
DAC to?
In terms of, yeah, in terms of like administration around collecting addresses and then sending out mailings to people. I'm assuming that would be a time consuming process, so I would have to see, you know, how many people are in that list or,
Yeah, I thought what you were trying to find out was contacts.
yeah,
So it would be helpful if one of us went through that and solicited, these are the artists that are going on Mountain View, here are the information.
yeah.
And you do with it what you
Yeah.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would suggest, so the Silicon Valley Visual Artists, that's the group that does
Yeah,
open
open studios.
they're writing a newsletter every month. So if it's okay, we could put in, I can ask Linda, and she's the president. She would, you know, link to our sign up.
Yeah,
To get like, you know, be updated.
yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Ask her if she,
Now
I'm
would
sure
be-
she's happy to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We don't have any calls for artists coming up, but now would be a good time for people to sign up for the artist registry because we can use that. That email list for news around the public art strategy. So
Mhm.
getting more people signed up to get updates on that and potentially being included in some of like focus groups or.
They have 12,000 people
yeah.
on their
Yeah,
email.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's on a mailing
Yeah, yeah.
list.
Yeah, that would be
It's
helpful.
probably more effective
Yeah,
than.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she could do
Content.
both, right? You could
Yeah,
publish
you
our
could
do
calls
both.
for
Yeah.
artists,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you could also publish, please sign up for our registry.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a call right now, but we could
lay the foundation
I
for it.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think,
Fine,
yeah,
fine.
we really need to get more active because cafe doesn't bring us enough.
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And only always more or
Yeah.
less the same people.
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah, some of the
So-
other, we've been sending out, or in the last year, we've sent out the few calls that we've had to SV Creates and Local Color San Jose, and so they've shared with their networks, which I think has maybe helped a little bit, but
I think it did
yeah,
help. I
yeah.
think it's already a big change because we got different people, like young people. I felt like it did help,
Mhm.
it did help a lot.
Yeah.
What was that second organization you said?
Local Color San Jose.
Oh, Local Color.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're great.
yeah.
Both great
Huh.
organizations. I think maybe we have to focus more on that. Like we all have our private lists, right? Where we also always send out the call and the registry, but that we send it out to different groups. I
Yeah.
think that probably has the biggest impact to.
Do we expect these other groups to then get onto cafes and submit through that, or is there another way to submit?
Yeah,
That would
well,
be through call for entry.
Okay.
well, because I just submitted through ceramics, submitted art through Slide Room. But if you don't need a platform that does promotion for you, right, and you have a system how to jury in place, then you don't need cafe, right? Then Slide Room is a much easier tool.
Oh, that's
to-
so interesting.
to Just submit your art. Cafe is quite cumbersome, I think, for the artists. Slide Room is easy and sleek and very straightforward, but it doesn't do anything other than submitting the portfolio, right? So you would have to bring the traffic there,
Oh,
and- and the jurying needed to be some Google form or I don't know,
Oh.
right? We needed to have our own jury.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it would be this century and not last. Cafes, I mean, for us too, right? How you find the documents and how you find the pictures and
Well, and I think,
different decades.
I think some of that, when we are working with the consultant on the public art strategy, like having conversations around how we accept our proposals and that whole process will be talked about, and I'm sure the consultant has some ideas or recommendations around ways
that
to
would be
make
great
it,
to
yeah.
get ideas from them, right?
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
looking around with others.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
I think Palo Alto does like.
Yeah.
But we're getting into discussion, so
Yeah.
let Kirsten finish and then we can revisit
Yeah.
every.
Okay, so then we have, so the upcoming fiscal year work item, so, develop a public art strategy, so this was on the previous year, we're extending it again into this year. So one comment I got, before the meeting was just the 2026 adoption, might have been a little confusing, so we'll do, so I can move this down. Cause this is just about the adoption and when the final, or I guess the draft version of the public art strategy will go to the city council. We still anticipate starting work around the public art strategy this year. So 2025, the review, the outreach, that'll be done. And then, our goal is to take the draft to city council in first quarter of next year.
Rather than September of
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Move it out of order.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But you'll have activity in 2025 with the
Mhm.
consultant and the draft.
Yeah.
Most activity will be in 2025.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then adoption by the council will be early 26.
Yeah, exactly. So just notes on that. So we had the city, study session with the city council in October of 2024. And then we, are working on the contract with the consultant for 2020. And so then this is just the implementation of the public art strategy, so we can't do that until it's adopted. So just moving that out to 2026. So this is.
Do you have it in with one, do you have a date when you think consultant will be signed and engaged.
There's been a few administrative hiccups in getting the contract figured out, so we were, I have to keep too optimistic and and when we've been able to get it done, I have to keep pushing it out a little bit, but I think we'll be able to start this summer, at least we'll be able to start some of that internal ground laying, ground setting work with the consultant, and then doing the outreach maybe late summer, early fall.
Can you add that as part of the?
Yeah.
Just so we have some milestones for us.
Yeah. Okay, so understand the protocols, procedures, and opportunities for potential acceptance of grants or endowments. So we've haven't officially initiated this project yet, just for time constraints, but I think one thing I guess I could note in here is just working through the city's donation policy. So that's, one thing we're doing as an avenue to try and accept more art to the city. So I'm gonna make a note to add that piece of note. And then updating the public art book from 1996. So I don't know if anyone has had a chance to see that book. Maybe we can add that as a future agenda item to bring a copy of it there.
Black and white paperback.
Yeah.
I think John, as an archaeological effort, unearthed it.
Yeah, so it was done, so there was quite a bit of art done like around that time when City Hall was built, I think in the late 80s, early 90s, and so there was a book created that just has photos of the art that was installed around that time, so that's a goal to kind of reinitiate that, so I think some stuff we would need updated photos of the art and probably a little bit of in-depth background around each piece to kind of help create that.
So as an ex-PM, you have 3 things coming up in spring. Is it reasonable that these all can be done in spring or not?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's like for me, number 4 is less important.
Yeah, well, maybe we can change that to just the to be determined date, and have it as something that, as you have time and have the resources to be able to do it.
Right, I mean, prioritize what's important, like
Yeah.
for us, it's the art strategy, the rest is secondary, so
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
be reasonable for Jean to take.
yeah, I appreciate that comment, and I think, maybe for the item number 3, the understanding protocols, procedures, and opportunities, that can be something that's to be determined based on, public art strategy, feedback and,
Yeah, to me, 3 is kind of connected to 2, right?
Yeah.
VAC responsibilities, the policies.
yeah,
To me, it kind of belongs to spring in a way. I mean, it's the follow-up of like
Okay.
implement the art
Mhm.
strategy, right? To me,
Yeah.
that's everything that's in 2 and 3, kind of. Right, because it's
Mhm.
the policies and to me, that kind of belongs together.
yeah,
And I think I said that before, I think it's not that we should include not just accepting grants and endowment, well, that the part of that policy or that strategy is also like how we commission art, right? Because as soon as we have money, it's not tied to a CIP project or a Center for Performing Art. like how do we do that, right? That's also part of it. How do we, you know, like what we did with Anita, right? Like select the artist ourselves, not, they're not come to us. We don't do a call for artists. We pick an artist.
We're not initiating that. We're servicing a person who's initiating it. So this is how, what we did with the union was.
Yeah,
we're
but
partnering.
I understand that, but as soon as we have grants and endowments where the money's coming from, I'm wondering, you know, that, then I think we also need a policy to commission art.
Okay.
I feel like you can't always do a call
I-
for
It'll probably
artists.
come out in the strategy.
Or that, it could be one of the things that comes out of the strategy. Exactly, but I feel like we should have wording that leaves it open enough, that if that is an outcome from the strategy, how would we do that? I think that's probably what I wanna say, right? Not that that particular wording needs to be in, but like what we're saying here, that that's open enough, that,
But I'd like to broaden it even further. In that, you're assuming we get money and commission art. My tack, in order to create a more,
yeah,
my tack is, let's involve the community in creating art.
it could go even further.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's add, if we can add on another.
Layer to that.
Another layer is other opportunities
Absolutely.
to create art, either through how we do grants or get the community to create art. And that we incorporate it.
Exactly. I think what I responded to is the passive.
Yes.
Less of
yes,
this.
yes, exactly.
Can we formulate that more in an active way?
Yeah.
If we want to commission, if we want to involve the community and not wait for artists to come to us, we come to the artists or to the public for art.
Yeah.
I think that's,
We-
thanks, Cliff. Yeah, that's what I felt like is missing, right?
And we pick up with Tutu asked for, studios, where can we create things? So this turning us in from a passive to an active.
Exactly. I think what we're craving is the more active part, and this is still in the passive,
Yeah.
receiving mode part. And yeah, the
Well-
arts, so if we can formulate that in a more open way, I
Like
think.
supporting opportunities for the community to make art.
Provide a space for the artists to congregate.
So that, there is an item on that later too, so we'll.
Yeah.
talk about that.
No, I think
But-
it's,
So, for maybe the related to the milestone, so it's developing strategies to secure additional funding for art activations and installations, for commissioning, art and working with the community. Agreed.
yeah, maybe just add it so that it's open enough, right? That we wanna play an active role and
And one, these are things too that we can use to help guide conversations around the public art strategy.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
I think this is good to.
yeah. And then what I wanted to say to 4 is, to me, the book, I don't even know if we want to do a book or if it would be something else, but
Is it published, this
To me-
book?
Yeah, it was.
1996.
And how would you add to it if it's already like a
No, we're
a
new
recreate it, oh, recreate it,
But
okay.
to me,
Yeah.
4 is more like the celebration of implementing the art strategy, right? So maybe we could formulate it more like we're gonna do something. Like when we're done, we're gonna do something. Could be a book, could be an event, could be an could be an event, could be a poster, could be a, I don't know, I feel like, I think the book to me stands a little bit like, we're gonna do something. We should think as a committee,
A
a
commemorative.
commemorative thing
thing.
that we do.
It's also a website. It's how you publicize it. It's on-
And how you
in
publicize
96,
that.
that's what they had.
Yeah,
Right.
Before the internet,
yeah. So
social media,
I don't know if we could formulate it a bit more openish, right? To kind of
Well,
say
it's almost like,
a commemorative something.
or celebrate, ways to celebrate the public art in view.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Mhm.
I mean, a book is, that's what was done. but
Right,
the
doesn't have to
theme
be
is-
now,
The theme
but
is
before.
in today's world, how do you celebrate it? And that comes out after we got an art strategy and things come out. So it's a, that's why
Yeah, that's true.
June is kind of,
Yeah,
you know,
Mhm.
that's cooking a little bit. but that's-
So maybe and 4 would be more late spring or summer.
More fall,
Yeah.
fall,
If you don't-
winter.
yeah, if you don't mind, I think I'll change it to just to be determined and it.
Yeah, I think it's good. idea.
Yes, yes, because it needs to follow the art strategy being.
Yeah,
And you might.
I think that's-
Phase 4, is dropping the 96 book into an idea of
Commemorating and
Commemorate.
celebrating in using today's technology.
Yeah.
Commemorate and celebrate the implementation of the art strategy.
Because then it becomes an ongoing, once we have the basis.
Losing my way into this. Yeah.
okay, so so we're on 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I gave you the wrong page numbers earlier.
That's okay. I figured it out.
Okay, so the next one is collaborating with the Chamber of Commerce and the Downtown Business Association on advancing art in public and private spaces. So just key milestones, identify opportunities to support community through public art. So I mean, it is something that's just kind of ongoing and ongoing work. So the Butler beautification is something that came out of kind of working with the downtown and understanding that they wanted to see more art too. There's the downtown street, the street treatment that's happening now, which looks so fun, so bright and colorful. And so that the VAC gave input on that. So this is just kind of ongoing work. But so here are 2 things related to the studio idea. So I just changed the word to, instead of developing a downtown vacancy storefront pilot program, providing input on it. It's turned into a council work plan item. So this is something that I think will be bigger than what was envisioned previously. And so staff will be developing something, and then we can work with the Visual Arts Committee to get feedback on kind of what that final is going to be.
Would this area be also in this work plan areas we talked about points with the activities that's going on downtown? Not only have music, but new art creation events. Is that fall into number 5?
Yeah, I think that could fall into number 5 and potentially in the ad hoc committee
Okay.
work. Yeah, because I think one of the big focus items for the ad hoc committee will be around kind of event activation and promotion.
And where is that? And is that? in-
That is up on. It's on page 3 of your attachment, so it's C, continue to collaborate with advisory bodies and other entities on visual art. So for the milestone there, I did say, form the ad hoc
Okay,
committee with downtown community performing arts to promote downtown events and create a connection between.
I'm not finding it, where is it?
Page 3.
So we were at
3 of 6.
The
Three of
drafts.
3 of 6. Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
that's the first batch.
No,
Yeah.
3 of 5,
Okay.
then you're on there.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and it could potentially be part of collaboration with the chamber too. I think they might be a little bit maxed out
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
number of events they can do right
Sure,
now,
sure,
but it's something we can definitely collaborate on. And I know internally, we're looking at ways to make event activation easier for,
Exactly.
for people, for businesses. The process right now is really geared towards allowing nonprofits to hold events downtown. And so we are trying to figure out ways to make it that easier, and that work is being done with the chamber, so it connected.
But like the performing, you have music on Castle Street,
Yeah, yeah.
so why not have it hard?
Mhm.
But that topic would be done through the subcommittee. Correct?
Um,
That type of topic.
Yeah, I think that can be talked about at the subcommittee, and community services, the community services department manages music on Castro. So we can, I know we have the goal to work with other advisory bodies too, so I don't know if the Parks and Recreation Committee gets involved in things like music on Castro, but I'll have to ask and see. So it either can be something we work with this ad hoc committee that is formed now, or we can look at opportunities for collaboration with other advisory bodies.
So that whole topic that we discussed would be in that topic C.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
if you can add in some verbiage about other communities in the city.
Yeah, there is,
You said Public Works? Public Works, was it?
Parks and Recreation.
Well,
Yeah.
Parks and Rec, and then you mentioned somebody else who does the music. That's,
If it's not Parks and Recreation, then I think it would just be I think it would just be internal. But I'll have to figure that out.
okay.
Yeah, but I think Parks and Recreation Committee would be a good one to collaborate with anyway, since we do get involved in
The
art and parks.
rec is very active.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the last milestone on the collaboration with the chamber is exploring an idea of Phantom Gallery, which I had to Google, the temporary art exhibition. So I just added that language in, but so looking at opportunities to fill vacant downtown properties with temporary art exhibits. So it's something that we have sort of done already, with looking at trying to do storefront activations. The hard part is just getting property owners on board.
Yeah.
So if it's a privately owned property, then obviously they need to do that, and but
Yeah, which I tried, but I couldn't track down that, the Chinese restaurant. I actually got a hold of the first tenant,
okay,
the restaurant owner who rented from the property owner. He said he couldn't buy it. I
okay.
don't know if he didn't want to, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those two I just put to be determined. I think the vacant storefront pilot program is something the economic development team will be working on over this next fiscal year. So there is potential that we'll see it then, but just keeping it as to be determined. Yeah, those are all the changes for this year.
So would people like to go over it again? Do you feel something's missing? Something's unclear?
I felt we discussed.
Yeah.
We did not, and then we started to chat.
Yeah.
I just have two quick questions.
Yeah.
On 5.6, the incorporate economic vitality strategy action items related to visual arts, what that is. And the matrix, the economic vitality strategy matrix. In the key milestones, just kind of that I understand what that is. 5 of 6.
Okay, great.
And then in 1, it's the last one, and in 2, it's the first paragraph in key milestones.
Okay. So we
Like
have,
both related to the economic vitality strategy, so I
yeah.
was just wondering what that was.
Yeah, so our economic vitality strategy is the economic development team's guiding document, just like the public art
strategy
strategy
you
will be
guys
for our
develop.
public art program,
Right,
yeah, and so we have kind of there's a number of arts and culture, activation, events related, action items in the economic vitality strategy. And so we do this whenever the city builds out a strategy or precise plan or does an update to any of our existing plans. We always like communicate with other divisions and departments and try and make sure that everything is
Kind of
cohesive.
synchronize
Yeah, as
this
cohesive as it can
strategy
be.
with the
Mhm.
art strategy.
Yeah. And so, since the economic development team is working with the visual arts committee, that would be a key focus to make sure that those two are, connected in some way. And so the matrix for the economic vitality strategy, that's something that, it's actually going to the city council at the end of this month. We're giving them an update on the things that we've done over the first year of, the adoption of the EVS. And the matrix just outlines every 164 of our action items, where they are, where we're at in the process, if we've started it, if it's an ongoing thing now, if we haven't started it yet, or if it's, a long-term item that will be done in a few years from now or something. And so, yeah, just making sure that these two documents are kind of can be connected back in some way, or maybe the kind
Form
of
of
matrix that we're
connection.
using,
Yeah.
can be,
Yeah.
similar too.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
I just forwarded an email to you. Remember you and I talked about potentially making a trip over to the art studio in Palo Alto, but we never did because we don't have the budget or a solid plan at the time, so it didn't make sense. I was there because my daughter had to go there. So I just send you an email with some pictures. I was thinking that you can put on the screen so everybody can just have a quick look.
Okay.
That's like my vision of the studio.
It'd be for doing like an art studio.
Yeah, that thing I was, talking about.
Let's see if I can get my
So,
email out.
This is owned by a private owner. And you can pay like $20 an hour to use the space. And he will be there to coach you. So this is not a nonprofit or anything, not backed by any city.
Non-profit.
This is not, this is a
It's a for-profit.
It's a for-profit, it's a private owner.
I just have one of the pictures pulled up. This is the inside of their studio.
And they don't have any, like, if you search for this business, they don't have any photo online, so that's why I had to take my own.
And
Interesting.
where is that to?
It's in Palo Alto.
Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Well, that's a studio.
Yeah, and you can go in, pay $20 per hour to use whatever the space, the color, whatever just you need to use. And my daughter did a little sculpture there. There's total 4 photos. Yeah, there's not holding up.
I just pulled up the one.
Yes, someone who hasn't really been around for much of this, it makes sense to me. Can't contribute that much to the discussion, but it's, falling into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really what we do all year,
Right,
right?
right.
So that's why we're taking the time to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Different things come up over time.
Yeah.
My only advice would be put down what's realistic.
Yeah.
for you.
Right.
Mm,
Don't
Yeah.
make it look nice for us, what's real for you.
Yeah.
And, given how much work you have and et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
just-
I think
just
it-
just be realistic for yourself. That's all.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll make some edits to this and then bring it back to you guys in June. And then you'll just basically accept the document. It'll go to council. I think it goes in September, after the summer break. And
This is kind of the format that it will be in.
yeah.
This is the format.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's always our time to reflect on what we're doing.
Right.
Are we doing it right?
Yeah.
We should be realistic.
For me, the main thing is public art strategy. Everything else is secondary. So everything else that's.
And I envision,
On getting the strategy done, I would say, was the second.
Yeah,
So this is,
yeah.
so what, this is the work plan, and which number is strategy?
So we don't have the strategy's not in, it's not something that's in here, so that we'll be developing the strategy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so they're two different things. So the work plan, every advisory body and the city council, they each have their, create an annual work.
Got it.
plan. The city council does.
And it looks like this is the format.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and then I see implement Mountain View Public Arts
Yeah,
Strategy.
so the public art strategy will be a much kind of bigger document with but might be looking out 10 years
Oh, I
from
see.
now and pointing out goals for, you know, the next year, next few years, 5 years,
Okay.
10 years. And
So it might look a little bit like this as well, I mean, except it's a strategy.
yeah, it'll be prettier.
Prettier.
It'll be a lot prettier, more
Yeah,
photos, more context and.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so usually there's, they're connected to a lot of these strategies. There's always kind of some type of analysis of existing conditions, and just
I
a lot
see.
of background information and then the whole
Have you
goals,
seen-
strategies,
Have you
vision.
seen what was presented to council in October?
October.
You seen that?
I can reshare the,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that with you.
Oh,
That
okay.
just
Yeah.
sets the foundation. for
Oh,
what
right.
this is doing.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll share the memo with you. That'll be the easier.
and probably the work plan for 2026 to 2027 will look maybe quite different because we're implementing the art
Hopefully we'll.
strategy, right?
Yeah.
Right now, we're following in the footsteps of previous work plans. but
Yeah.
Potentially could look quite different.
Yeah, start pulling more things from.
That'd be
yeah.
exciting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Christine showed us, right, what she changed from last year. It's more like projects that we already done that are not,
Okay,
you know, that are gone now, that and new things that come on. So, but maybe it will change
Mhm.
more. Do we need to adopt this? Do we need to vote? Do we-
No, you don't need to do anything.
just discussing,
Yeah, I got all the
right?
comments.
Yeah.
and- Yeah, yeah, and then at the next one, you'll, get the 6 up. To look at last year.
All right, sounds good. Very good. Then moving on to 8, questions from reports, comments.
Well, I have another
And
comment.
last
I have
comment.
another comment. There's a very nice exhibition up in San Francisco, MoMA, on the work of Lisa Sawa.
oh, I think I've, oh, and at the MoMA, okay, I've seen one.
Yeah.
Lovely exhibition. He has one room devoted to her work with public art.
She was an art activist, just.
So I would highly recommend you go
Okay.
into that room because it describes her attitude,
Yeah, she was.
which
an
is,
advocate,
which,
yeah.
which is, again, along the themes of being involved with public.
Right,
And the creation of the art, because she had 6 kids,
Yeah.
six kids in the house in North Valley, so she had to keep them busy. And so she had ways of doing that carried over into how she created public art. And it explains her process and gives examples, and I think it's a nice model for us to think about when we come to the art strategy.
Absolutely.
But I highly recommend going to it, especially that big room that they have with her on public art.
Or reminding,
Yeah, that's
I
great.
have to, yeah, I keep seeing advertise, I need to.
It's a
Have you
very
been?
nice, very nice exhibition.
I just wanted to say, Silicon Valley Open Studios was this last weekend, right? But there's also Santa Cruz Open Studios and there's also San Francisco Open Studios, so.
The next, this weekend is South Bay.
Oh, yeah, it's usually like those areas have like 3 different weekends, like the south, the west, the east, like Santa Cruz has
Omega
that too.
Nexus has some artists.
Like this weekend. This coming weekend, yeah.
I went to Harumo's.
Did you go?
I did. I went to her talk. It was
Oh,
really
wonderful.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so bummed I couldn't
It
go.
was really good. She talked about her philosophy of public art, which comes down to like promotion of democracy in the sense that public spaces gets you interacting with people that are outside of your own bubble. And so in that regard, she thinks supports democracy. So that was kind of interesting. I think she talked about public spaces that she was raised in kind of in Japan and how important that was for her. But then she spent the next part going through the process, so that was really cool to see. She's currently working on a school mural in Oakland that's enormous.
Who's this?
This is Harumo.
Oh, Harumo.
Yeah, and she talked about how she's transferring this
Yeah, yeah.
enormous mural onto 8x8-inch ceramic tiles, and then that will be installed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really,
Tiles.
it's all gonna be tiles. This
Wow.
enormous, like probably like this wall, like take it 4 times. It was like, it's huge, yeah. So thousands of tiles. And it was printed, she had to work with a printer and she had to source these tiles and anyways, got to see her studio and got to see how her process, it was fascinating. That was good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. She went to school where I grew up, so that was another strange connection. And she's a TA in the screen printing shop at Foothill College, which is where I'm doing lots of screen printing right now. So that's another weird connection, all these strange
She's
connections.
in my pottery studio as well.
Oh, is she in your pottery studio?
I don't know if she still goes, but she has her beautiful sculptures drying there. And I saw her once.
Where is
or
that?
twice.
Where is it?
South Bay Ceramics.
Oh, okay,
in
okay.
Bellevue.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was good.
Thanks for going.
Yeah,
I
sure.
send it to. And beyond that newsletter, right, from the Copperly Studios.
Yeah.
because There's so many, I think they're trying to involve them beyond the it's like open studios twice a year, but now
Mhm.
they're involving the artists more, I think.
There are a lot of talks, it seemed.
There's a lot of talks, there's workshops, you can craft with them, you can, go to talks. I think the city has decided to ask more of them for the subsidized art space they're
Right.
getting.
Yeah.
More than just the open studios, and I think we can all benefit from
Mhm.
that, right? There's lots, so get on the newsletter, get all the.
Yeah, sure.
Anything, anybody else? Are we gonna have a meeting next?
Yeah.
Is it's gonna be hopefully the contract?
Hopefully, but we'll definitely have the work plan item.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will be absent.
okay, in June. Okay.
Then do we have a meeting in July?
No, we don't have any, so July and August are the off months.
Yeah, as you know.
Yes, we don't have anything set, so the only reason we would meet if there was something to have a special meeting about, so we'll, if that is the case, communicate with everyone and make sure we get a date set, but as of right now,
It
there's
works for
no
the
need for it.
majority, but doesn't look like it.
Mhm.
So we'll have one more in June and then September.
So once, assuming eventually we get the contractor engaged,
Mhm.
so we will then have a meeting with the contractor or, correct?
Yeah.
Give kind of feedback of what
Yeah.
what we've done or what
Yeah.
we see.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would like is for the consultant who's gonna do the public art strategy to either come to the visual arts committee, or if they aren't able to do that in June, but we obviously want to get things going at that time, and maybe it's one-on-one meetings, or we hold a special meeting, or we They have enough work that they can do at the start. And then we have the VAC, have them come to the VAC meeting in September. So, yeah, I think we have options.
Hopefully they can make it to the June meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
And if they can't, I would highly recommend that at least talk with Susie and Regina.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were instrumental in getting feedback and shaping what's all presented.
Yeah,
So it's this kind of subcommittee, they would be able to do well.
yeah, yeah.
Consultant.
All right. All right, so adjourning the meeting at 7:20.
Wow.
Wow.
Yay.
You didn't know there is a